couple of completions, and Cutler will break the Bears' single season mark of 315 completions for the year, set by Eric Kramer.
And you can see the performance that he had last week against Minnesota. We talked about it in the opening. Consistency is what you need to be a top-level quarterback in a game-to-game basis and a season-to-season basis.
And Hester as a wide receiver on the right side on first down for Cutler, who throws to Forte. Forte keeps going. Battled close enough near the first down marker after being forced out of bounds. And the starting lineup, Olin Kreutz, of course, the man in the middle, very vocal, but Lovie Smith defended him. And Matt Forte hoping to run the ball a little bit better, as you see Devin Aromashadu in with Earl Bennett at receiver.
And left tackle Chris Williams is coming off his best game, where he held Jared Allen to no sacks last week in Minnesota.
9-yard pickup, second down 1. Forte, quick pass, and completes to Bennett for a first down. And the Lions defense, they've had a lot of changes through the course of the season, but Sammy Hill, fourth-round draft pick from Stillman College, has been impressive up front. And in the middle, Larry Foote out with the foot injury for the second straight game.
And DeAndre Levy is going to be taking his place. Talk to Jim Schwartz, talking about that foundation, those young guys. Rookie DeAndre Levy is getting the start in the middle there for Larry Foote.
And Louis Delmas, the good news, the rookie safety, bothered by a knee injury, is in the starting lineup for the Lions defense. Handoff to Forte on 1st and 10, and he picks up a couple. And Forte came in averaging under 3.5 yards a carry after such an outstanding rookie season.
And he has. Forte does a good job that you could see on first down. They utilized him in the screenplay. They know that Gunther Cunningham's an aggressive defensive coordinator, going to bring a lot of pressure, going to be a much different game plan. At least that's what they're thinking, that the Detroit Lions are going to be much more aggressive defensively. Good way to start out the game with the screen and get the ball in Forte's hands.
So not necessarily a sophomore slump. There have been a lot of things in this offense that haven't worked this year, as Khalil Bell comes in, the rookie from UCLA, and gets a first down. His 30th carry of the year, and when he's had the opportunity, he's made some big plays.
And that's been the problem with the Detroit defense all season. They will have a couple of plays, a couple negative plays where they get the defender, they get the ball carrier in the backfield and stop it, but then they give up a big run, and they've put themselves in difficult situations. And that's why you see them pressuring so much and bringing that safety down into the box, leaving their corners one-on-one.
Another first down and another quick pass as he is completed to Forte, who gets a first down inside Lions territory, about the 38-yard line. An impressive start to things. The Bears picking up where they left off against the Vikings Monday night.
And you like to see the discipline of Jay Cutler. He drops back on the pass. You could see his eyes upfield. He realized the defense is dropping into coverage. Just hit your swing route. Good management, good understanding of the game there. Realizing that Detroit was dropping into coverage and just hitting your swing, which ultimately turns into a first down.
So a 12-yard pickup and another first down. Devin Hester lines up on the right side. Forte, you're back. And they mark him out just on the other side of the 40-yard line in Lion territory, and it's a run. And this time the Lions bottle him up for a loss as Forte is brought down near the 45-yard line. It'll bring up second, the first second and long test early for the Bear offense.
And this is an important down for them. We talked with Julian Peterson, and he said to keep the Bears in 3rd and 6 or more. So that puts a crucial emphasis on this second down here, to keep them in a long down and distance on 3rd down, because the Bears have had trouble when it's over 6 yards on 3rd down.
Saw Lovie Smith watching. A lot of heat on the head coach, who wouldn't talk much about his situation, just talked about this game, finishing strong. Cutler under pressure, quick throw, complete near the first down marker, and he has Aromashadu, his first catch of the day after coming off a 7-catch, 150-yard night against Minnesota, and Trent, it is a first down.
And you don't have to worry about converting 3rd downs when you have a big play on 2nd down. Devin Aromashadu does a good job. We talked in the opening about how big and how physical he is. This is a relationship that Jay Cutler has told us he would like to develop with him. It's similar to his relationship he had with Brandon Marshall in Denver. He likes the fact that Devin Aromashadu is so big, and as a physical receiver, he can put the ball on his body, and you can see after the catch, he was able to get the first down.
6'2" and just over 200 pounds is Aromashadu on first down for Cutler in the pocket. Quick completion to Jason McKee, the fullback. And let's talk about Aroma Shadu, because Bear fans said, well, why hadn't this guy been playing earlier?
Last week, Dante Culpepper gives them the best chance to win today.
And that's what the Lions are going for. Matthew Stafford had surgery this week. Their star of the future, as Maurice Morris carries. And the Lions offense with Dominic Raiola, the veteran, in the middle, flanked by some veteran linemen. And you'll note that Calvin Johnson, with his 61 catches, lining up far on the right side, and a bit of a hurry up here for Dante Culpepper on 2nd and 5. And with the defender holding onto his legs, he got rid of it. Tommy Harris had him at his grasp. So it'll be 3rd down and 5.
And that's tough for the quarterback when you have a 3-step drop and the defensive tackle has your legs by the time you get to the third. There had to have been a protection issue there.
And the pass rush of the Bears, that's what they're looking for, that front four, getting heat. Of course, Hunter Hillenmeyer coming off a big game at linebacker.
And Lance Briggs, making his 5th straight Pro Bowl, is anchoring that defense.
Hillenmeyer with 17 tackles in the win over Minnesota. 3rd and 5 for Culpepper. Time. Calvin Johnson was on that side, and it is intercepted by Zach Bowman, his 6th pick of the year. Calvin Johnson stopped and went right. Culpepper threw it long.
And that's the consistency and the issue that's been with the Lions offense all season long. We talked with Calvin Johnson.
They get the ball back on 1st and 10, just from across their own 10-yard line, as Maurice Morris gets into the clear. And Morris, the featured back, brought down by Bowman, averaging over 4 yards a carry. He has the longest run for a touchdown by a Lion this year, 64 yards.
Great job by the offensive line of the Detroit Lions, giving Maurice Morris the opportunity to see the hole, make the cutback. And this has been a real problem for the Chicago Bears. They have a history of knowing or being a run-stop defense, but they haven't done that this season, and Detroit took advantage of it there.
Maurice Morris remains in on 1st and 10. Calvin Johnson over on the right side for Culpepper. They're going to run it with Morris, who will fall forward for maybe a yard or 2. Maurice Morris, all those years in Seattle as the versatile backup back, of course, out of Oregon, signing here, and was the backup to Kevin Smith. But when he went down with the injury, Maurice was on the spot and has come through.
And this is another opportunity for these young players, the inexperienced players, for the Lions to find out what they have in those players. Kevin Smith was the guy. He had a great rookie year last year, but Maurice Morris gets this opportunity. Young
Aaron Brown backs him up in this game. On 2nd down, they run the screen to Morris. One of those plays familiar with for his days in Seattle. Gets near the 1st down marker and looks like he fell across. Offensive coordinator, they were together with great success in Minnesota. 1st down Bears. Forte in the backfield. Forte scrambling for a couple of yards, falling forward. Marvin White up from his safety spot out of TCU. Speaking of the undefeated Horned Frogs, making the stop on Forte.
And the Bears are looking to get in some type of sync again. You remember that first drive, they were able to drive down the field, get into field goal position, get some points on the board. The second drive, they got the turnover, got a short field, and weren't able to do anything. Had a 3 and out and had to punt the ball. Now they're trying to get back into a rhythm offensively, get Jay Cutler going. He started off the game 5 for 5 and now hasn't had a completion since.
2 tight ends in on 2nd down. Forte carries. Going to bring up 3rd down and short for the Chicago Bears. And much has been made about Forte running the ball his 2nd year. Is it the offensive line? Did they throw a lot because of falling behind early? And coming off Monday night, that was a game where at least the entire offense and defensively, really, they got on the same page. They played well together.
The offensive line played very well that day. They had over 100 yards rushing as a team. That's the one thing Olin Kreutz said. There has been no consistency and no consistent play out of the entire offensive line.
3rd down and 3. Forte splits out to the right side as a receiver for Cutler, who looks to throw, and Forte can't hold on. So we'll just gloss over the penalty. That was the first penalty of the game. 1st and 20 now. They're going to try and run it here with Morris, who goes nowhere. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee, see what's going on around the league for this game break.
Pittsburgh and Miami going back and forth. The Steelers answering Miami's answer of the Steelers score. This time it's Ben Roethlisberger, 54 yards to Mike Wallace. And the Steelers are back on top, 14-7 still in the first quarter. Chris and Trent.
Thanks, Kurt. Can't help but think of when the Steelers won the Super Bowl, how they got hot at the right time, worked their way in. They're going to need some help, but they have to win that game first. We'll keep an eye on all the other activity that has playoff ramifications. As Culpepper on 2nd and 17 has room to run, throws, completes near the 40. It's Calvin Johnson who has a first down.
And you can still see Dante Culpepper has that cannon of an arm. He buys time in the pocket. He slides. You'll see the good pocket that he has, and then he steps up in the pocket because of the pressure coming around from the outside. You could hear the fans talk about run the ball because there was a big window there, but he's got a cannon. He puts it on a rope to Calvin Johnson. Calvin does a good job getting separation and working back down the sideline to get the ball and makes the defender miss to convert for the first down.
And averaging 15 yards a catch coming in. That good for 17 for Calvin Johnson. 2 tight ends on first down. The pitch to Morris. And some blocking. He got through it in the backfield, but it looked like he was going to lose yardage.
How they didn't make that tackle or at least make contact on him in the backfield has got to have Lovie Smith scratching his head, because you were thinking it was going to be a tackle for loss. He steps right over the defender and is able to pick up 6 yards.
Some Bears laying on the ground by the time he was able to make that gain. So 2nd down 4 from just inside the 26-yard line. Aaron Brown, the running back as a receiver, goes on the right side with Calvin Johnson for Culpepper. Trailing 3-0. Pass is complete, and that is Aaron Brown. It'll be short of the first down. Aaron Brown, the rookie from Texas Christian University, 6th-round draft pick, averaging over 4.5 yards a carry, and also very valuable as a receiver, benched as a return man when he had trouble in that area because Coach Schwartz wanted more explosiveness.
Well, and that's what you're trying to find, right? We talked about the building blocks and the foundation. You're trying to find those supporting cast members, the other people that are going to fit into that role.
And of course, when you have a guy like Lance Briggs, your centerpiece on defense for Chicago, you know that's in place. On 3rd and 2, Culpepper from the shotgun. Protection, pass is low and incomplete. Intended for Bryant Johnson at the 12-yard line. And Hanson ready to kick off here. Devin Hester. Second kickoff return of the day. Look out. Devin Hester is back. Devin Hester all the way up to the 47, 48-yard line before Zach Follett brought him down.
And that's why you have a speed guy back there returning it. Change the field position.
So Jay Cutler in the opening drive, hitting on target, slowed since. Khalil Bell, the rookie from UCLA, is in the backfield. Good field position. Last 5 passes, Cutler has misfired. On 1st and 10, it will be Bell powering forward, and just across midfield, DeAndre Levy. His 2nd start at middle linebacker, the 3rd leading tackler with the stop.
DeAndre Levy is one of those foundation guys. He's one of those guys that Coach Schwartz talked about, getting an opportunity to start for Larry Foote. Will Larry Foote be back? He only signed a 1-year deal after coming from Pittsburgh, and DeAndre Levy stepping in and playing well, and one of those young guys they're looking for.
3rd-round pick out of Wisconsin, outside linebacker in college, but Jim Schwartz said we drafted him to play inside. And again, it will be Bell. It'll bring up about 3rd and 2. Offensive lineman of the Bears on 3rd and 2 after a couple of running plays. Khalil Bell in the backfield. Cutler looks to throw, completes to his tight end Olsen, who goes down right at the first down marker. William James there with it.
And that's the important thing about getting him outside the pocket. We talked with Jay about the play calling that he had with Mike Shanahan in Denver, the way they got him outside the pocket, got him on the move. He's very comfortable moving around in the pocket. And that's just one example of plays that he's used in the past. And the thing I liked about last week's game is I thought Ron Turner did a great job of calling that game last week against Minnesota, and we're seeing more of that today, moving Jay Cutler around.
So a first down pickup to open the 2nd quarter. Bell remains in the backfield. Cutler has it. And for Olsen, his tight end, first down near the 10-yard line. Greg Olsen came in as the leading receiver with 55 catches and 7 touchdowns.
And once again, using the play fake angle, Jay Cutler is going to fake the handoff, come back and set up in the pocket. Where is on last down, he kept going and carried out the bootleg. This time he sets up in the pocket, gets the defense to bite up on the play fake, and drops the ball in between the safety and the corner to Olsen for a big gain.
And Lewis Delmas, the safety, the rookie safety, chasing him down. Now 2 tight ends in on 1st and goal from the 10. The red zone, other than last Monday night, has been trouble for Chicago with turnovers or penalties as Bell carries. It'll be 2nd down, and as a quarterback, obviously the field shrinks down here. But Jay Cutler has said, look, I just try to make plays happen. I don't want to try and settle for field goals.
Well, and that's why he placed the importance about Devin Aromashadu. He says it gives me a big receiver, gives me a tall guy. If I can throw a fade up in the end zone, or if it's a contended with a safety and a linebacker, throw the ball high and let a big receiver go get it.
Earl Bennett comes out on the left. Greg Olsen, his tight end, splits way out to the right. And Bell lines up as a receiver. Pass is low for Bennett, bounced into the turf and incomplete. Not a good throw.
Not a good throw, and you wonder why Olsen is split out wide and you have a running back split in the slot. Where's Devin Aromashadu? He's coming on the field now, getting into the huddle, giving him that extra weapon, but now it's 3rd and 10, so you know Detroit figures they're going to throw a pass here unless you try running a draw or a screen and get them to bite on that. But get Devin Aromashadu on the field in the red zone.
1 for 4 on 3rd downs so far. And Aromashadu is in the game for Cutler on 3rd and goal. Jay Cutler, end zone, incomplete. It was for Devin Aromashadu, but the Lions were expecting it. Maurice Morris in the backfield on 1st and 10 for the Lions. Morris gets it and spins forward for a couple to the 33.5-yard line.
And knowing that has been a problem of this Bears defense, stopping the run. You look, Maurice Morris right now is averaging, in this game, he's averaging over 5 yards a carry, and they've had some problems and some inconsistencies in the passing game. So I think initially and right now, they're going to need to lean on the running game and then use the passing game as a complement.
2nd down 6, and Culpepper believes he still can be a starter in the NFL. Not here, but needs to prove it. Aaron Brown in motion. They give him the football around the left side. And Aaron Brown spins across the 45-yard line.
And that's one way to utilize the running game. Put a running back out in the slot, do a run fake, get an around to get the defense to flow. If you find a defense that is flowing really hard to the ball, then you can get him with a misdirection. He's in motion. He's coming behind. They're going to fake the run up the middle. You see the defensive end. You can see Alex Brown bite down on the run fake. He loses contain and gives Aaron Brown the ability to get around the edge.
A 13-yard pickup just short of the 46 of Detroit on 1st and 10. Here comes Brown again in motion. They give it to him the other way. And this time the Bears were ready for it. Maybe a yard on the play as Nick Roach ran him down. 2 years remaining on a contract. That's been a hot topic of discussion. Is the Bears this year a disappointment after acquiring Jay Cutler?
And Levy didn't want to talk about it. We tried bringing it up. We tried asking him about his coordinators. He said, let's focus on Detroit. When the season ends, we'll discuss that.
Matt Forte is back in at running back and squirms up the middle for a healthy gain to the 25-yard line on 1st down. And Jay Cutler, it was as if the team adjusted around him on offense. Rather, at first they tried to just fit him in. And it seemed on Monday night in a big win against Minnesota, it all came together. Here, a little choppy. Cutler 7 of 14 so far on 2nd down 5. Stumbles from the snap. Hands off to Forte. It'll be 3rd down. It's as if the Bears have recommitted to the run here.
So upset about the spot of the ball, but I think he's got to like this field position.
And looking for some production from Maurice Morris. Met hard right away and thrown down. Anthony Adams just gobbled him up.
You get interior penetration on the offensive line. You have no chance to make a cut to find a lane. Anthony Adams does a great job of shedding the blocker, making contact in the backfield, and you can see when that big boy wraps up, you're not going to get out of it.
For as much as you talk about the Bears having been run on, certainly in this game, other than running wide with Aaron Brown, Detroit hasn't had a lot of success. And now on 2nd and 12, Culpepper has to throw it and goes underneath to Morris, sure-handed, and gets near the first down marker. Let's check in for another game break with Kirk.
To pick up that short down and distance.
He is thick, as they say, on 1st and 10. Bears threatening as if they are going to blitz. They do. Picked up. Culpepper completes to Felton, the fullback. And another Lions first down.
Great job by the offensive line. They do the play fake. Culpepper looks down the field, takes a deep drop back. You can see the shell that the offensive line gives him. It's a nice pocket for Dante Culpepper to stay in, and he's able to go through his progressions, go through his reads, hit his check down. When the defensive players are buzzing out of there, just hit your check down, and they're able to pick up another first down and get into the red zone, which they've had a problem doing all season long.
Trailing 6-3 here in the second quarter. 4:10 to go. They pitch to Morris. Not a lot of running room, but he fights hard for maybe a yard or two. And cover for Nick Roach. And the Vasher injury will update as well. On 2nd and 10 for the Lions, Maurice Morris has had half of the touches in 22 plays for Detroit. Brian Johnson. And that'll bring up a second down as Bullocks makes the play. Make that third down.
I'd like to see Detroit take a shot at Calvin Johnson here. I know that the Bears have been favoring with a safety over the top, getting some one-on-one looks. When you have a big physical receiver like Calvin Johnson, I'd like to see Detroit take a shot at him here in the red zone.
Yeah, for the Bears, there's 6 different starting combo at the safety position, as we talked about. Jamar Williams in for Roach at linebacker on 3rd and 5 for the Lions. Culpepper. End zone, touchdown Lions. It's Brian Johnson.
If it's not one Johnson, it's the other.
7 out of 14 so far. A guy who has battled juvenile diabetes through his career, had it under control in Denver. Continues here with Chicago. Kind of a forgotten factor for Cutler. On 1st and 10, the quick pass, and it is complete to Devin Aromashadu. And that is his second catch of the game. And you know, they check the blood sugar at the end of each quarter, periodically through the course of the game, the staff, to make sure on Jay Cutler. But they have said that he's done such a good job of preparing himself for what is necessary to get through a game that they don't have to worry about. Otherwise, give him a little, sugar in a drink to keep it up to levels that are necessary. Hurt his hand on that previous play.
And it's hard enough as a quarterback just the in and out of playing the position every day, practice games, but dealing with diabetes the way Jay Cutler is, you have to give him credit for handling things as well as he does.
And the pass on 2nd down, complete for a first down. Jay Cutler is tough mentally and physically, as the catch made by Desmond Clark, coming off his best game. And as of right now, not affecting his play at the 2-minute mark on 1st and 10 with Matt Forte in the backfield. Cutler down the middle for this tight end, and he's got it. That's Olsen again. Chicago does have 2 timeouts remaining. So Cutler 7 out of 17, 6 different receivers, nothing so far to Devin Hester. Trying to move the offense here. Clock running, 1:35 to play. Pressure coming, quick pass to Aromashadu, who gets a couple. Lions are there to stop him. Ernie Sims led the way.
But even though Devin Hester doesn't have a catch today,
He is bothering him a little bit. On 3rd and 10. Cutler complete inside the 30. He's got Earl Bennett for a Chicago first down and in field goal range.
the hand wasn't bothering him on that throw. Quarterbacks don't like hearing those excuses. They just want to keep firing it, and I'm sure Jay wouldn't want to use that as an excuse either. And those giant players.
And heat on this Chicago staff. So Lovie Smith, Jay Cutler, the Bears want a strong finish to their season. Trying to win their 7th game. Cutler steps up, throws and completes. A nice catch made by Devin Hester, his first of the game. And it is another first down.
And in talking with the players about Lovie Smith, how do you respond? How do you support Lovie Smith? They said the way you support Lovie Smith is you go out and you play well. You play hard and you play well. There doesn't need to be any talking about it. Guys know if you want to help out your head coach, you play well.
14-yard pickup, 1 timeout remaining. Jay Cutler from the pocket completes. They may have to burn it here as Earl Bennett hangs on. And at the 20-second mark, but
he has the time.
What you don't want, Trent, it's obvious, but it's something that Cutler has battled with, the interceptions down here, because you want to at least come away with the opportunity of the field goal.
Exactly, Chris. And red zone interceptions has been a problem as well, trying to force the ball in situations. We'll see what Cutler comes up with here.
Jay Cutler, end zone, Olsen, and is he in the end zone? Touchdown! He is right on the goal line. And Cutler delivers.
Great job by Jay with his throw, with his placement of the pass, but you've got to give even more credit to Greg Olsen. He goes up to the goal line, does a simple out route. Jay puts that ball high and hard to the outside. Give the credit to Olsen for bringing that ball in, using his hands. A lot of times that ball.
And Dante Culpepper, Jennifer, 15 out of 24. I'm sorry, make that 11 out of 8 of 11 so far, as Maurice Morris carries. And Morris has been busy. That's his 10th carry of the game. Culpepper has rushed 3 times. Again, Culpepper 8 of 11 so far in the game. He does have the touchdown and the interception. And again, this may be his last game as a member of the Detroit Lions.
This is his opportunity to showcase himself for other teams. He's had some inconsistencies during his career here in Detroit, but against this defense of the Bears, it's an opportunity for him to showcase himself around the league.
Hunter Hillenmeyer looking on as Culpepper slides down at about the 31-yard line.
When you get into a negative play on first down, it really puts a tough spot for Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, to come up with plays. Now you're 2nd and 15. On first down, you get the 5-yard sack, you get the 6-yard sack. Now all of a sudden you're in a long down and distance. The play prior with Maurice Morris getting a 12-yard run on first down, finding that balance and being able to run the ball effectively. Now you have to get yourself in a makeable 3rd down.
And Calvin Johnson with 1 catch so far. Down at the bottom of your screen, that's the right side for Culpepper. He looks to the left side, fakes, and under pressure, Mark Anderson had him in his grasp. He had to get rid of it. It'll be 3rd down.
Good job by Dante getting rid of the ball and not taking another sack, which would have put him in a really an unmanageable 3rd down at that down and distance. Good job finding a receiver and being able to get the ball out of his hands. But you got to give credit to the Bears defense, putting pressure on Dante and covering his initial receiver that made him bounce outside the pocket.
So the Bear defense with a 3rd and 15, hoping to bottle up Culpepper and get the ball back for Cutler. First possession of the 3rd quarter, and he dumps it off. That's Morris, who will be short. And the Lions will be forced to punt.
Instead, they went to a cover 2 with 2 safeties deep, both corners rolling, so they tried doing a quick 3-step throw.
And Matt Forte gets to the 30-yard line. He'll be just short. It'll bring up 3rd and about 1.5 yards. And for Matt Forte, we talked about the running game. That's his 9th carry of the game.
We talked about their 3rd down conversions. We talked with Jay Cutler about it. We talked to Lovie Smith about it. This is a manageable 3rd down. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. This is what you expect your team. If you want to be a running team, they have 2 tight ends in the game now and a fullback. If you want to be a running team, this is where you have to pick it up.
And that's where they go for the 1st down, and a lot more. Still powering to the 22.5-yard line of the Detroit Lions. That was with great conviction.
Great job by the up front. Good job by the offensive line, creating a hole for Matt Forte. He gets through to that 2nd level, basically untouched. Good job by the Bears offensive line and by the fullback to create that spot. McKee does a good job of creating that lane for Forte to pick up the 1st down.
Matt Forte remains in. 9 carries, 28 yards for Forte. He'll get the carry again, and this time goes nowhere. As Julian Peterson makes the stop. You see scores in the upper right-hand corner, and the Rams are leading against San Francisco. If you're worried about the #1 draft pick, of course, the Lions would have to lose and the Rams win for Detroit to have that opportunity. There's the current standings coming into this final regular season weekend. St. Louis, remember, beat the Lions in head-to-head play, so that would be the tiebreaker if they wind up that way. On 2nd and 9, Cutler gets rid of it and almost intercepted. It was over the head of Greg Olsen, and Louis Delmas, the all-everything rookie, was there.
Good job by Cliff Averill coming off the edge for the Lions and putting pressure on Cutler and making him throw that ball much quicker than what he wanted to do. He put that ball up really early. You can see Averill's going to be coming off of the edge. He gets over the block of McKee or Forte that tries to chop him down. He has to throw that ball quicker. When you throw the ball and you're trying to anticipate that throw, you don't get the separation that was happening earlier in the game.
Averill, tremendous pressure. A missed opportunity on a pick for Delmas on 3rd and 9. Here comes pressure. He got rid of it quickly, and that's Devin Hester. And look out. Inside the 10 for a first down. If he had slipped that tackle, he would have been dancing in the end zone.
And that's where his speed comes into play. Good job by the Bears recognizing that there was going to be pressure from the Detroit Lions, getting the ball out of Cutler's hands quick, letting those defensive linemen get upfield to get the quick throw. If you have a defense that's very aggressive and very over-pursuing, get the ball out of your hands quick and try and get those quick screens to the outside, those quick throws, those look patterns or hot patterns to the outside receivers, and try and catch it. Or you can hit them with the screen.
His second catch of the day. He had 54 catches, the leading receiver, before Devin Hester went out with the calf injury. Cutler for Aroma Shadu, and that is a touchdown, Bears.
Well, there's our red zone pass to Aroma Shadu. Aroma Shadu has one-on-one coverage, gives him a step to the outside.
From one Devin to the other, it's what you talked about in the open, and this combo when both are healthy and out there. So Jamar Williams is coming at linebacker to help out, and Nathan Vasher back in at corner for the Bears as Culpepper and the Lions have it on 1st and 10. And the pass for Bryant Johnson is incomplete. Let's go back to when it was 4th and 8 when the game turned and the Bears were able to build a 10-point lead. The fake punt, Calvin Pearson, the up man, is where they opted to go, and there was just no place for him to run. And even though the ball is fumbled, it didn't matter. The Bears were ready for it and took advantage.
Devin Aroma should do one-on-one with William James. William James thinks he's going to get help from the safety, lets him go, and they're able to convert that for a touchdown, which is what the Bears weren't doing earlier in the game.
So a 10-point lead, and here Morris gets a yard or two maybe on 2nd down, bringing up a 3rd down for Culpepper. And let's check in with Kurt Menefee for another game break. Kurt?
Well, the Patriots still have a chance to lock up the #3 seed in the AFC with a win and a little bit more today over Houston. Darius Butler with a 91-yard interception return off of Matt Schaub, and they lead it 20-13. Patriots in pretty good position right now, Chris.
And Kurt, the Bears, who many thought would be a playoff team when they acquired Jay Cutler, trying to finish strong, get their 7th win of the year, a 10-point lead over Culpepper and the Lions here in the 3rd quarter. On 3rd down, Dante is on the move, and the Bears are going to get it. Stopped at the 30-yard line. He escaped at first, but Alex Brown and Mark Anderson ended up swarming him. Alex Brown tack on another sack, giving him +5 for the year.
The pass protection of the Lions isn't good enough. We talked about the inconsistency on the Chicago offensive line. The inconsistencies on Detroit's offensive line is equally as bad. And they've had so many different guys in
a single season for the Bears, and 2nd on the all-time yardage list, 2nd most yards in a single season behind Eric Kramer. And Forte carries. Penalty flag as he gets to the 40 and across it.
And you can see the Bears are trying much harder this half to establish the run.
Holding, offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
That's the veteran center Olin Kreutz, who made headlines calling out the organization from top to bottom. But you talked to him about that, smiling all the way.
Oh, yeah. Olin Kreutz was the guy that it took a lot of criticism. He was surprised by the amount of criticism that he took after his comments that things needed to change from top to bottom as far as improvement. What he was really talking about, he wasn't calling anybody specifically out. He was just saying that people had to perform better. There had to be some responsibility. And when it was brought up that his play had dropped by the media, he said, well, no kidding. He's like, I've been playing for 12 years. Of course my play is going to drop off some. Tell me something I don't know.
An oddity here at two centers on opposing teams, Olin Kreutz and Dominic Raiola, who went to high school together and had success on a football team in Honolulu, Hawaii.
And they were neighbors and friends growing up. You can see the two of them talking here, and next to him in the orange shirt is Dominic's younger brother Donovan, who's on the practice squad. But the funny thing is they're talking about Pop Warner football and growing up together. They said Dominic was telling us, you know what, Olin was too fat to play, so they wouldn't let him play Pop Warner. He would come out to the practices and get some practice in, but once he lost that weight, he was able to get on the field.
And Olin Kreutz has made a lot of tough calls to help out Jake Cutler, who steps up after the timeout, has time, but is going to take it himself. Slides down at the 23-yard line. People don't realize, too, even when a quarterback comes in, a veteran center has to help make calls up front, obviously, aside from stabilizing the huddle sometimes.
Well, and that's something that Olin Kreutz is very comfortable with. He knows that's been part of this offense, part of what his responsibility is as a leader of that group, trying to get everybody on the same page. But he was very upfront with saying our offensive line has not played well enough this week or this year. And he thought they played very well as a unit. It was an example of them being able to beat Minnesota last week.
On second down and 15, Matt Forte remains in the backfield. Devin Hester is down at the bottom part of your screen on the left for Cutler as the run goes nowhere short of the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and long, so a good opportunity for the Lions defense, trailing by 10 in this game.
And this would give them good field position. If they're able to hold them here, the Bears are going to be punting from inside their own 20, so you're giving good field position to your offense. At this point in the game, down by 10, you need this stop for your defense. NFL
doubleheader weekend. We call that a pop-up in the industry. And Cowboys-Eagles is what most of you will see. That's a little TV term, Trent. You see that slide? I'm not supposed to comment on it, but you know it's a big game. So I think
that's right.
It'll
that's
decide.
Right. We need to comment on it. There's a lot going on, a lot of value in that game.
Here goes Cutler on 3rd down. They'll try the screen to Forte, and the Lions were ready for it. Excellent defensive play by Anthony Henry from his corner spot, the extra defensive back end. So Rod Marinelli, defensive line coach for the Chicago Bears, back here in this building for the first time since being the head coach of the Detroit Lions. 3 years in that position. And looking on as Culpepper runs it to Morris on 1st down.
Good discipline by the Bears defense to stay at home there and not bite on that around, which the Lions have done a couple times today. They gave that ball to Aaron Brown a couple times earlier on that around after faking it to the tailback. But good discipline by Lance Briggs and Alex Brown to stay at home.
And we just saw Rod Marinelli. So the winless season, the Lions are trying to win their 3rd game of the year. It's important in front of a sellout crowd here at Ford Field to finish strong. Trent, this is a spot where you can't play it safe. They were aggressive on the fake punt. It backfired. But they need 2 scores. Trailing here in the 3rd as they run it. So it'll bring up 3rd down for Culpepper. Anthony Adams making the stop.
Right, you can't go completely haywire because there was when this possession started 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's a 10-point game, but you do have to pick your moments to take those shots, and they have tried to do that in the previous series. The problem is they haven't protected Culpepper, and he's taken sacks for loss, and then all of a sudden you're in a long down and distance. So this is a manageable 3rd down that they've got to convert to try and get some momentum going and give their defense a break.
On 3rd down and 6. They're 2 of 8 on 3rd down tries for Calvin Johnson. Were his feet in? Yes, it's a catch and a 1st down.
Not the most accurate throw for Dante Culpepper, but this is where the athleticism and the size of Calvin Johnson takes over. You can see he has to reach for the ball. Good job bringing the ball in and dragging that back foot to stay in bounds.
And Zach Bowman covering there is about 6'1", and Calvin Johnson is 6'5" and a little more when you stand next to him. So the mismatch. Aaron Brown they fake to. Culpepper down the middle, and he completes to Calvin Johnson inside the 40. Hunter Hillenmeyer on the stop.
They dialed into that play fake that they ran a couple times earlier with Aaron Brown on the around after the fake handoff to the running back. So what they did there is they did a double fake. They got the linebackers to bite up, getting Calvin Johnson to sit in the window of the lane of the coverage.
Yeah, 3 catches for 50 yards now for Calvin Johnson. Maurice Morris checks in the backfield. A 19-yard pickup gives him a 1st and 10. Culpepper to Morris. Tries to spin out of a tackle from Hillenmeyer and falls down at the 30-yard line. So a healthy pickup on 1st down, and already, although it'd be a long shot in field goal range, we talked about that 2-score difference. It seems like they are aggressively attacking the Bear defense.
Well, what happened is you get the big 3rd down conversion. Calvin Johnson makes a nice catch, drags his feet. You get a good play action pass. The offensive line gives Dante good time. You get the ball up the field to Calvin Johnson. Now you get a good 1st down gain. This is what you need to get some momentum going and get some points on the board.
Maurice Morris, can he get the 1st down? Looked like the Bears stopped him short of it, bringing up a 3rd down.
And this has been a problem spot for Detroit today. Several times today they've had a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 that they haven't been able to convert. They've tried running the ball in those occasions. Potentially here you could see a play action pass and try and hit a back in the flat or hit a tight end up the field because of how well the Bears have been doing defensively in this distance.
Yeah, so Morris checks out. Aaron Brown checks in. You've got Jerome Felton, the fullback, who's capable of carrying the football. They're going to throw it. And it is for Brown, who gets near the marker, but the ball floated high in the air, and I don't know. Yeah, now have we seen enough of the moving pocket in this game? Because that seemed to work effectively on Monday night.
It worked very well against Minnesota, and maybe because of the pass rush that Minnesota had, that was the reason it was part of the game plan. But I think just the effectiveness that Cutler has outside of the pocket, it should be part of the game plan.
And Khalil Bell, the rookie from UCLA, who got some carries in the 1st half with a big run for a 1st down before Julian Peterson brought him down. Now, I know from Jeff Fisher's defense, Jim Schwartz plays his defensive ends out wider than some defenses do. Does that have an effect on the kind of rolling or moving pocket we're talking about?
Well, it shouldn't be, because you either get a tight end or a back out there to seal that edge if you're trying to roll outside. And if you're worried about being a pocket passer, then you've got to slide up if you're getting wide edges coming up in there, or work the screens or draws.
Cutler this time is brought down. He tried to step up in the pocket, but the Lions were there waiting for him, and Jason Hunter from his end spot gobbled him up. I mean, the Lions, the defensive line, they broke through like they were at airport security in Amsterdam. Work with me here.
And that's the problem when you're not an outside the pocket type of guy. And Jay has success outside the pocket, but when you make him stand in there, and like you mentioned, the defensive ends of the Lions really get upfield, forcing you to step up, there's nowhere to go. And they've been able to apply good pressure to Jay Cutler all day.
Second down 13. I kid because I care, you know that. And this is a Bell carry again. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Really throw one up the field and let that big-bodied receiver go make a play.
Culpepper rolls out, throws high, but a nice grab. He went up and got it. 6'5½", and Calvin Johnson with a 1st down catch.
He was about 6'10" on that play. He went up and really got it. And I think the Bears are thinking they're going to try and take a deep shot. You can see the defenders thinking he's running deep. Calvin does a good job of coming back to the ball. There's nothing you can do about that as a defender. You put the ball that high and you got a guy that big to go grab the ball. Great body control by Calvin Johnson. Strong hands getting the ball.
And Zach Bowman covering, who had an interception early in the game, as Maurice Morris carries. You know, in the earlier meeting in Chicago in the 1st half, Bowman got burned by Calvin Johnson. He had 8 catches in the game, and they adjusted in the 2nd half, did the Chicago Bears, using different defensive coverages, and kind of took Calvin Johnson out of the game. It's flipping the other way this time. Nathan Vasher, the other corner. We may see Corey Graham as well on Calvin Johnson, but this time it is Bowman lining up on 2nd down. The pitch to Morris. He hands it to Calvin Johnson running the other way. Culpepper throwing a block. Calvin Johnson goes down at the 30. And Nathan Vasher made sure he didn't spring it.
That may have been the best catch of the day for Calvin Johnson, even though he's well, they got him in the shotgun. So I think you're going to try and see, you have to find your best one-on-one matchup. You see at the bottom of the screen here or the top of the screen. You've got both Johnsons one-on-one.
Instead, he looks at the middle. There's Calvin Johnson, who has a first down catch on 4th and 4. The Lions come through. That big body was too much for Bowman to get around.
And you can see in the slot, the defender chases the inside slant, which opens up the outside slant to Calvin Johnson. Fortunately, the protection is long enough that Culpepper can pump fake to the inside, get him to draw inside, and then he resets his feet, and you put it on that big body, he's going to bring it in.
11:10 to go here in the 4th quarter. Lions moving for what they hope to be a tying touchdown at extra point on 1st and 10. Pressure coming. Culpepper delivers. Bryant Johnson has a first down. And the Lions with a 1st and goal.
Good job by Bryant Johnson. Even better job by Dante Culpepper getting the ball out of his hands. There's a nickel pressure coming off his right side off of the slot. He doesn't see that coming. He gets the ball out of his hands to Bryant Johnson, who splits the defenders and gets the first down and makes it 1st and goal, which is a situation the Lions haven't been in a lot today or this year.
No Charles Tillman. Corey Graham limps off. Danielle Manning, Al Afalava on the injured list. The secondary beat up for the Bears on 1st and goal. Will the Lions throw it here? No, they will run it to Aaron Brown. It'll bring up 2nd and goal.
It's interesting to see on that play. Most of the day, especially down in this area, they've used the safety. Steltz on this occasion you thought was going to go over the top and give Bauman help with Calvin Johnson. But Steltz came down inside the box and left one-on-one on the outside. Let's see if the Lions take advantage of that, if they can get a one-on-one matchup again.
And Calvin Johnson goes to the right side, so that'll be the top of your screen and a one-on-one matchup for Culpepper. Aaron Brown remains in the backfield. Culpepper is going for Calvin, and touchdown Lions. So the crowd getting a little noise here on 1st and 10 for Cutler. Matt Forte across the 15, 16, all the way up to the 17.5-yard line. A good gain on 1st down.
And that's what the Bears need to be able to run the ball. But look for them in this 2nd or 3rd down situation. They've got to get a play fake in and get Cutler outside the pocket, or at least get the play fake and set him up in the pocket to where he was able earlier in the game to get the ball downfield to Greg Olson. Cutler's
used 6 different receivers, but Greg Olson has been Mr. Reliable as Forte remains in on 2nd and 5. Cutler rolls, throws high and incomplete for Forte. Good pressure by the Lions.
And give credit to the Lions defense. Jason Hunter gets up the field. 97, Jason Hunter gets up the field and causes Jay Cutler to throw this ball high. He has to get it over the outstretched hands, causes that ball to go high and tip off the fingertips and put that type of pressure. Now the crowd's really getting into it.
So Devin Hester checks back in on 3rd and 5. The Bears are 5 of 12 in the 3rd down department today.
And they have all 8 in the box.
Cutler has time. Down. Oh, it's for Hester. He's got Devin. Can he get past? He cannot get away from William James. But a big completion, and Cutler surveyed the field well before he delivered it.
And the problem with putting 8 guys in the box, is being able to recover and get deep enough. And with Devin Hester's speed, he gets James turned around, flips his hip, and cuts to the inside. When those 8 guys are in the box, they can get back to the middle and cover that middle part of the field.
A 48-yard gain. Devin Hester in and out again for a breather. And if you're James, right, Trent, you got to play back with the speed of Hester.
You have to. So you understand him biting on that fake. It just he has no help in the middle of the field.
Forte checks back in at running back. On 1st down, Cutler looks to throw this time. Good pocket for Olsen. Greg Olsen inside the 10, down inside the 5. And what a response by this Bears offense.
Nice job by Forte picking up the secondary pressure coming off the edge, giving Cutler time to step up in the pocket. Once again, we talked about this at the beginning of the drive. Use the play fake, roll out, set up in there. This is a play they had success with earlier in the game. getting Olsen behind that underneath coverage and in front of the deep coverage, and Cutler puts it right on time.
Olsen nearing 100 yards receiving today. 8 touchdown catches this year, including one earlier. Got first and goal. Matt Forte has it. Penalty flag as he goes down around the goal line, reaching forward with the football. I see you shaking your head up here.
Well, I'm shaking my head because we talked to Lovie Smith and the frustration that he showed with the inconsistencies.
Holding. Defense, number 79. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Well, Lovie Smith isn't going to be shaking his head on those inconsistencies. Where the flag comes in, it looks like an offensive holding, but they call defensive holding where the defensive lineman grabs the offensive player so that they can't rub off to the linebackers. That's where the holding call comes in. You can see where Hunter grabs the blocker to try and keep him off the linebackers, and that's what that was called on the play.
So a first and goal. He fakes, Cutler throws, and touchdown Bears. Desmond Clark in the end zone. And Desmond Clark, at age 32, the oldest offensive player to have a score. This is a young football team, 26 years and younger for most of the key players. Coming off a big Monday night game, he's in the clear.
You can see both tight ends are going to be open. The Lions commit everybody to the play fake, to the run concept, or if they go more of a cover 2 look where they give a safety help over the top.
Culpepper to throw on first down and dumps it off just short of the 35-yard line. Maurice Morris.
And that was indicative of what it looks like the Bears are going. They're going to make Culpepper be patient and throw the ball down the field. Stelz was up tight, appearing to be an 8-man box. He drops back into coverage. They give the cover 2 so that Bowman has help over the top. That's Culpepper's responsibility to have the patient hit the checkdowns.
And Zach is still on Calvin Johnson out on the right side on second down and 2.
The safeties are starting out near the line, but they're going to drop out into coverage.
And for a first down carry, Morris gets up near the 40-yard line. Josh Bullocks from his safety spot, knocking him down. 6.5 to go in the fourth quarter.
And good recognition by Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for Detroit, understanding, hey, if these safeties are going to be near the box and try dropping out into coverage to help from a play action standpoint, then let's run the ball. And they were able to on that time when the safeties drop in deep.
Aaron Brown checks in. Greg Stelz got a second NFL start today out of LSU, the 4th round draft pick. Culpepper fakes and has it. Has time to throw and has to go short underneath. That's his fullback, Jerome Felton. And Jerome Felton all the way down to the 35 of Chicago.
Delay a game. I don't know why it's called delay a game and not an encroachment, but they can call it whatever they want. It's a 5-yard penalty.
And on first down, it'll be another first down. As Aaron Brown weaves his way down to the 15-yard line. The Lions responding, trying for their 3rd win of the year.
And responding quickly. They haven't wasted any time getting the ball right down the field, moving the ball. Good job by Brian Johnson coming over, blowing up Zachary Bowman. And Aaron Brown making the cutback to pick up another 5 yards.
In their earlier meeting, it was to attack Zachary Bowman, and they've done that effectively here in this game. On first and 10. Culpepper, end zone. Oh, and Bowman had his hands on it. It was intended for Calvin Johnson.
Very dangerous pass by Dante Culpepper. If he had that to do all over again, I'm sure he'd want to put that high and on the back line. Instead, he underthrows it and gives Bowman an opportunity to undercut it and almost make the interception.
Even on the touchdown catch to Calvin Johnson, it was a ball that wasn't thrown exactly on the right spot by Culpepper, but Johnson adjusted. Here it'll be 2nd and 10. 4:54 to play in the season finale for the Bears and Lions. Who goes out with a roar? Culpepper with time, corner of the end zone, and thrown over the head of Dennis Northcutt. It'll bring up a 3rd down. About that. Louis Delmas is out of the game. Anthony Henry at safety for the Lions as Forte carries again. And Anthony Henry made the stop from that safety position. You know, Jim Schwartz, with the economics degree from Georgetown, said that this guy was his top defensive player through the course of the year, likes the defensive players he has in place at each layer. Sammy Hill on the defensive line. You've talked about DeAndre Levy at the linebacker spot. And, of course, Delmas at the safety position. Something to build on for the future. All rookies who have contributed greatly. Can they stop the Bears here on 2nd and 4? There is Levy looking in. Forte. First down, Bears. Breaks across midfield. Still on his feet. What a run by Matt Forte.
Not only is it a big run from the amount of yardage he got and the fact that now they're in the red zone, but his ability to stay in bounds and cut back, his vision to get separation, is able to get away, sees the vision, sees the pursuit of the defense, cuts back to the middle of the field, stays in bounds, and keeps the clock running, and that forces Detroit to use one of their timeouts.
And they only have the Lions one timeout remaining. What a run by Forte. Now 96 yards total in the game, 53 of them coming on that. You just talked about how important it was to advance the ball and kill the clock on 3rd down. And we welcome those of you who watch the Giants and Vikings on 3rd and 5. Cutler for the end zone, and he has Devin Aromashodu for the 2nd time today. They have hooked up for a touchdown. The 4th touchdown pass of this game for Jay Cutler.
And that's what I like seeing Jay Cutler, how they utilize Jay Cutler is get the play fake, get the rollout, get him outside of the pocket where he feels comfortable. If the back's not open in the flat, don't force anything down the field, but he has Devin Aromashodu one-on-one in the end zone. Aromashodu is going to come up and run an out route, and Cutler does a good job of putting the ball in a place that either Devin's going to catch.
He actually never went to the ground before the ball is stripped out.
Once again, a late game forced fumble that the Bears were able to get. They did it last week in overtime. Hillenmeyer had against Adrian Peterson in the Minnesota game on Monday night. Once again, they do it again today to pretty much put this game away.
Now what a play by Tim Shaw, who has been a special team stud for the Bears. He has friends and family here, got 40 tickets, grew up in Livonia, Michigan, signed as a free agent from Carolina, Jacksonville. He's been a terrific player, special teams player, and a guy that has earned a regular spot at home on the Bears for years to come. So Khalil Bell, the rookie from UCLA, to help run the clock down. Over 100 yards for Matt Forte.
And you can't say enough about this Chicago offense and what they've done in the 2nd half. Jay Cutler finding Aromashodu in the end zone for Aromashodu's first touchdown. Detroit answers with a touchdown of their own to Calvin Johnson, getting one-on-one matchup. They've been utilizing, the Bears have done a good job of utilizing the play action passes, getting Cutler to move around in the pocket, and he's been very accurate with his throws today and his decision making.
4 touchdown passes in this game, so 27 touchdown passes for the year, and the 26 interceptions, as we said, coming in, and that number is on hold as Bell remains in the backfield. Again, no timeouts here. This should take us to the 2-minute warning.
They've had and the foundation they have in place. This is a team that should be doing much better than what they're doing.
Aaron Brown back on the return for the Lions. And Aaron Brown gets through. Can Robbie Gould stop him? He spins past Gould, falls down inside the 37-yard line. Joaquin Iglesias, the rookie receiver from Oklahoma, kept Aaron Brown from going to the end zone.
And Detroit's going to have to take a quick hit here. On this return, Aaron Brown has great vision. Good job by his blockers. Missed tackle by the Bears. Aaron Brown gets it into position. Detroit's got to take a shot at the end zone quick because they've got to try an onside kick and then get the ball back again if they want any chance of it.
53-yard kickoff return by Brown. Culpepper's gone the whole way. Drew Stanton, his backup. Remember Matthew Stafford's surgery this week. He is the man of the future for the Lions as Culpepper has time. And throws for the end zone, and Stelz back there, almost intercepted. As for the Lions, we know Matthew Stafford is their quarterback of the future. I'm impressed, and you and I got to do the first game that Jim Schwartz did as a head coach when they lost to the Saints on opening day. I like the pieces that are in place. Are you confident that Jim Schwartz has this franchise really with a direction for the first time in a lot of years?
Well, I think that he talked about building that foundation, and we've talked recently about the pieces that are in place on the defensive side of the ball. Louis Delmas at free safety, DeAndre Levy at middle linebacker, and Sammy Hill being a solid person at all three levels. And then the offensive side of the ball, you mentioned Stafford and Brandon Pettigrew, the tight end, who's on IR as well.
Northcutt with the catch, and Calvin Johnson, who has been able to really have a terrific season because of the injury at quarterback and no one else really stepping up on offense.
And that's what amazes people even more is you look at him and the numbers that he's able to put up with the rotating quarterbacks, with no second or third receiver or consistent second or third receiver. It really puts pressure on him as a player, and he continues to step up and make plays like he did today.
Brian Johnson with the first down catch. Brian Johnson had a touchdown catch earlier in the game as Culpepper will spike the ball. 17 seconds remaining here, down by 2 touchdowns. And at running back, you know, Detroit, Kevin Smith had been running well, running hard before his injury. It's an area where the Lions may need to look. The Rams will have the #1 draft choice unless they opt to trade it, losing today to San Francisco in St. Louis. So the Lions will get an opportunity to draft another terrific player, and they've done well in the last couple of drafts.
And that's what Coach Schwartz has said that they're real pleased with is the last 2 draft classes, how those guys have panned out, how they've performed, and the ability of the young players to step up, and they've gotten playing experience this year.
Out of bounds with 12 seconds left. A sold-out crowd here at Ford Field to close the year. I know some Bears fans came. It's about a 5-hour drive. But an entertaining game. And if you're a Lions fan, from 0-16, at least a couple of wins in the right direction. If you're a Bears fan, you were thinking playoffs when you got Jay Cutler. I think there's enough here, Trent, as you talked about. You add a couple of players through the draft, keep people healthy, that the Bears can contend for the playoffs, finishing this up with their 7th win, provided they hold on. From the shotgun, Culpepper completes. That's Will Heller, his tight end. Clock continues to run. Will they get one more shot at the end zone? And no. Time runs out on the Lions. And the 160th meeting. The great history of the Bears and Lions, division rivals through the years. Chicago sweeps, and Jay Cutler with 4 touchdown passes. Lovie Smith, definitive answer on his future we should hear shortly. Devin Aromashodu, a star, with the return of Devin Hester. For Trent Green, I'm Chris Myers. The Bears over the Lions at Ford Field. Happy New Year. Kurt Menefee in the studio.